I'm Spider-Man.
The hell, Frank? You just hit me with a van!
Quit your whimpering. Suit yourself. Mother.
Go home!
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel just announced how Punisher and Daredevil fit into the events of the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, and they're even more connected, all three of these things, than everyone assumed, so we will break it all down. I know there have been a lot of theories about this since all the trailers came out, and what's going on during the Punisher special presentation, which they're now calling The Punisher One Last Kill. There have been so many questions about that since they announced it. Right on time, Daredevil Born Again Season 2 episodes also start tonight. My video for that will post later tonight, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that, because a lot of it will build into Spider-Man Brand New Day and the Punisher special presentation. We are going to be eating good for the next couple of months. This is the actual schedule too. Thank you, Marvel, for confirming how this all works. So we're getting all the Daredevil episodes week to week, and then like the next week right after the Daredevil finale, we'll get that Punisher movie, One Last Kill. During the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, all the scenes between the Punisher and Spider-Man make it seem like they've known each other for at least a little while. Spider-Man calls him by his first name, Frank. We don't get a lot of dialogue from Punisher, but the vibe of their scene together makes it seem like he knows that firing his very large gun point blank at Spider-Man through his webbing isn't going to kill him, it'll just stun him briefly, so he has no problems in firing on him. Let me tell you something, Webhead. And what Punisher is in the middle of doing with the tank chase that they're also in the middle of while this is happening is too important for him to stop and talk it out with Spider-Man. So Punisher seems like he acknowledges that he knows who Spider-Man is, like he's familiar with Spider-Man, and he doesn't have time to stop and talk to him. Spider-Man gets blown onto the tank, then if you couldn't tell, when you slow down the frames, when he jumps through the front of the window of his Punisher van, he actually slaps him, like he literally slaps him out the back of his van, which is just another example of Spider-Man using non-lethal means. He's not even trying to knock him unconscious, just slow him down a little, which he does. Punisher cursing him before he webs his mouth up to keep the movie PG-13. That's the reason why he webs his mouth. Kevin Feige made a big deal about that a little while ago when they announced the Punisher was going to be in the movie, that they have to tone him down to keep the movie PG-13. Also, his special presentation movie is called One Last Kill, so it just implies that it's going to be way more hardcore R-rated than Spider-Man Brand New Day.
That I've ever seen with Spider-Man.
But the idea is that Spider-Man and Punisher have clearly run into each other before, in the way that Tom Holland explains their relationship in the movie in a new interview that they posted right after they posted the trailer. John Bernthal was like a big brother to him on set because they've worked together in many different things. Like they're also in Christopher Nolan's Odyssey movie. They also did a movie together before this too, and they helped each other audition for their roles when Tom Holland was auditioning for Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War, and when John Bernthal was auditioning for the Punisher Netflix series. So they helped each other get the roles in the MCU that they now have. But in the context of the movie, at the start of the movie, they're kind of wary of each other, according to Tom Holland, but they find a camaraderie by the end of the movie. I think the idea is that it's building to this moment later in the trailer where you see Punisher speaking to him on his comms and they're working together. I also kind of think the Punisher is one of the missing figures in this big hand fight scene where there's all this weird dead space beneath Spider-Man. Maybe the other person is Daredevil, maybe it's Hulk, we will see. Like there's clearly a couple other people in this scene. But the other big thing you also probably noticed in all of his scenes in the trailer, Punisher has his new skull logo on his vest and his gear is new too. But he has had a couple Punisher vans before, though, during the Netflix series. The actual new logo he gets during the Punisher special presentation, One Last Kill. So here's the next big announcement. Marvel just explained what's going on with that and how it fits in with the events of Spider-Man Brand New Day and Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Right now we're getting Daredevil Born Again Season 2 Episode 1 like tonight. It takes place a couple months after the end of Season 1. In the end of Season 1, one of the post-credit scenes was Punisher escaping Kingpin's underground prison, then vanishing. Marvel has now confirmed all of our theories, pretty much everybody clocked this, that he vanishes to deal with the events of the Punisher movie. Its official title, like I said, is Punisher One Last Kill. Who is the One Last Kill, you ask? It kind of sounds like it's going to be Ma Nucci based on the behind-the-scenes footage. This is her with Punisher in those scenes. We also know that Curtis from the Punisher Netflix series is back too, but Daredevil, the other Defenders, Netflix characters aren't supposed to show up during it. Spider-Man also probably not going to be in the Punisher special presentation. Sony is really big about not allowing Spider-Man to show up on any of the TV show related stuff. But Punisher One Last Kill takes place during the events of Daredevil Born Again Season 2, which is why Punisher is not in Daredevil Born Again Season 2, like he's busy off dealing with his own problems. The official synopsis reads, as Frank Castle searches for meaning beyond revenge, an unexpected force pulls him back into the fight.
I'll dance with you.
I don't think that's a direct Sadie Sink, Jean Grey, Spider-Man Brand New Day reference. The unexpected force pulling him back into the fight is probably just related to Ma Nucci and the Nucci crime family in the events of the special presentation. We saw him kill one of the Nuccis during the very first episode of the Punisher Netflix series. So he's already gone up against the Nucci crime family before in the past, like they're already canon to the Netflix series, which is canon to the MCU now. In the comics, Ma Nucci is one of his major villains. Most of his big villains are mob-related villains. It kind of sounds like based on the behind-the-scenes footage, he goes to ground after escaping Kingpin's prison, then learns the Nuccis are doing something super messed up or super shady and wants to take them down, or they come for him, forcing him to fight again, and it exposes something bigger that inspires him to pick back up the mantle of Punisher, get his new Punisher logo, like put the new costume on, boom, and continue trying to save the city by stopping the worst of the worst going forward, which then becomes the connection to Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, freshly inspired to become the Punisher again, the post-credit scene for that is supposed to be a Spider-Man Brand New Day scene based on Sadie Sink's character. Reportedly in the movie, in Spider-Man Brand New Day, she's going to be working with Punisher, thus the combat boots, the more functional off-the-rack gear, even though the colors are coded for classic comic book Jean Grey, with the green and yellow. There was also an artist at Marvel that also drew her in a comic book style in this way, calling her Jean Grey. Clearly from the trailer footage, she has mind-reading powers. If she is Jean Grey, I don't think we'll totally learn what's going on with her character until the events of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like, they don't want to give everything away about her before the actual movie. Only a post-credit scene teaser in the Punisher special presentation that she's a girl who needs Punisher's help, so he's going to help her out. Which is also a comp back to Punisher Season 2 on Netflix, where he basically did the same thing, helping a young girl in need of protection. But at least in Sadie Sink's case, it looks like both Damage Control want her. That's like the prison that she's in here when she's in the cuffs. It also seems like the main villain of the movie probably wants her too, which might be the Jackal character, whose whole thing is experimenting and combining DNA of different beings to create more powerful ones, just like Mr. Sinister, making more X-Men comps too, if we're talking about her potentially being Jean Grey. Jackal is just more of a Spider-Man specific version of what a lot of Mr. Sinister does.
A new breed of perfect creations will be born this night.
And Spider-Man Brand New Day takes place after the events of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. That's why the mayor giving the key to the city to him isn't Kingpin, it's whoever becomes mayor after him. Which also pretty much tells us Daredevil, the other Defenders characters who might show up in that season, are able to kick Kingpin out of office by the finale. So you kind of see how this all is meant to fit together. Right now, Daredevil and the other Defenders characters who show up during that season are going to deal with what's happening with Mayor Kingpin in the city. Spider-Man is still active around the city, even though Sony's kind of blocking him from actually showing up in the season. While that's in the middle of going on, Punisher's off dealing with the Nucci crime family and any other villains that show up during that, and then he'll run into Sadie Sink's character and learn why he needs to help her, and setting him on that mission into the beginning of Spider-Man Brand New Day. So part of the idea is that when Spider-Man Brand New Day picks up a little while after the events of those two things, they'll have been together for like a very little while, like they'll actually know each other a little bit. There's also the idea that Spider-Man has been active around the city helping people since the end of No Way Home, which in context compared to Spider-Man Brand New Day is a couple years ago, so he's been friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in the city for a couple of years now. While that's been going on, we had the events of Daredevil Born Again Season 1, so like he was around for all that and what the Punisher was doing, so he would know all about the Punisher if he didn't before. You cannot be this active, web-slinging around New York City all over the place without running into the Punisher at least once or twice, or hearing about him on the police bulletins that he uses to help save people. Notice that on his phone during No Way Home, he probably still uses a version of that to actually find out who he wants to help out minute to minute. You have to imagine over the last couple of years, like while Daredevil Born Again Season 1 was going on, you heard him listening in while the police were yelling about the Punisher and Daredevil a lot. He is also probably not a real big fan of the Kingpin, Spider-Man not being a big fan of the Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio said that he would love to go up against Spider-Man in an actual movie, but that was Sony's purview, and they had the rights to Kingpin in the movies, and if he wasn't in the movies, it was because of something that Sony was doing or not doing. So blame Sony if you don't see Kingpin show up in a Spider-Man movie, not Marvel and Kevin Feige. Marvel and Sony's actual relationship on a business level, sharing the Spider-Man character doing the Spider-Man movies, actually sounds like it's really good right now. Like, the head of Sony is really happy with the way he talked about it, but it just sounds like there's a lot of negotiating when it comes to who gets to be in what and where Spider-Man gets to appear in Marvel stuff. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below and all your theories for the Punisher special presentation and what's happening with Sadie Sink's character and why they start working together. The really big reminder is that my Daredevil Born Again Season 2 Episode 1 video will post next. That should be up later tonight. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. There's going to be 2 episodes next week. I'm assuming probably because the episodes are a little bit shorter. Whatever winds up happening, we will figure it out. So be sure to click here for my Daredevil Born Again Season 2 Episode 1 video. I'll update the link as soon as I post that. And click here for all my Spider-Man Brand New Day videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.